I asked you guys in the session schedule channel if you wanted to do a minor, major, or monumental case. If you start a monument, if you want to start a monumental one, that sometimes starts with the smaller stuff, kind of like what you were doing before. But you did just close a major case, so it's kind of up to you. There's a little bit of information that maybe will help you to decide. One is your group, Aqua, would have gotten requests for kind of information and collaboration from the people who owned the beach that the body was recovered from. That corporation is familiar to two of you. It is called the Dorobo Corporation, spelled like this. The Dorobo Corporation buys real estate on coasts and does a lot of like aquatic development, including drilling and resource acquirement. They're known to be I don't know how to say it quite, but they're very unethical. Is their reputation? They have no problem at all sending in. We'll call them private military contractors to clear people off of land that they want to acquire, whether it's for oil or for minerals or anything. They're a very, very, very dark corporation, as in nobody really knows who's in it or who the leadership structure, like what's going on there. They have like a chairman, but it's like clearly a false. It's like an alias. They're from Japan. They're just strictly Japanese. And I wanted to go over real quick. No, this is not a rich. It's not rich tan all the time. Not every corporation is rich. I want to go over Japan real quick, just so you know, kind of where Dorobo Corporation, like what they're like, where they're coming from. Japan is in this setting, the land of a thousand curses is its little nickname, because it is the land of a thousand curses. It is a completely chaotic setting where people have horrible things happen to them, and then the next day everything is reset to the status quo. And by horrible things, I mean like people in some small town will start melting. A giant human will appear and just begin picking up and eating people, and then the next day everybody's fine and they forget that this happened. It is considered to be untenable as an area where if you want to like have a corporation, you don't want to do business with Japan usually, because even if you think it's going okay, usually before the month is over, whoever you sent over there will no longer return your calls and probably you'll never see them again. It's called the land of a thousand curses because it is the land of a thousand curses. For those of you who have seen Thus Spoke Rohan Kasibi, you know that in that series there are actual gods that exist. In that thing, it's the mountain gods, I believe, that Rohan has to deal with.
Oh yeah.
In this setting, those curses could be said to be the curses of like several gods, which are upset with the people there. Curses from gods are things that are above stands. I'll say they're extremely powerful. You're technically your egregory like fit within that category. So it'd be like if somebody pissed off all the egregory of Japan, more or less. What they do to you? They didn't do anything to you. It's just Japan. Japan's fine. And Japan's not fine, but you guys are fine in Guam. Just saying, like you just so you know, anything that comes from Japan these days is either crazy or cursed. So usually, most people don't want to do business with something. The exception is the Doboro Corporation, like are incredibly rich. Think of them as like a deep, dark, black monolith that just stands on the horizon of corporations that have risen since the kind of fracturing of the Seven Nation Army. They're not the most powerful, they're not the most wealthy, but they are the most like impenetrable in terms of espionage, trying to like just they can't be strong armed by the Seven Nation Army, which or they never really could be, but now they really can't be. Like Valentine, they work with Valentine Clan, not exclusively, but work pretty closely with Valentine Clan. So this is Dobro Corporation. They will have like a full kind of profile, probably in the lore channel at some point. For those of you who are familiar with or have characters that are from Russia, which covers two of you, I believe. Ru- this is the corporate. This is in fact the corporation that cleared off like quite a bit of like the Russian coast, using mercenary muscle to do it. So there you go. You have the Dobro Corporation now. They are requesting from your group collaboration in like pretty much making sure everything's okay on this beach, and then they plan to do something with development. So before we even get started, I gotta know: are you guys like as a unit? Do you just cooperate generally with these guys, or do you want to throw up any kind of roadblock or what?
What sort of construction are they doing? Is it?
They don't say. They just have everything is legally checked. They do own the property. Everything is fine. It's just that they have like certain corporate privilege that allows them to just say that they're developing something, and that's it. As long as it passes all environmental inspection and all that shit, licensing, they have everything covered legally.
No, well, as long as
But
it's legal and they aren't melting the earth to the ground, obviously, in an obvious way. Are they melting the ground in an obvious way? Like,
have there
No,
been rumors
okay.
that they may be, on the sly, like having some toxic chemicals somewhere that's affecting the environment or anything?
well, here's the thing about it. The reason why um, they are very legal and they get away with everything, more or less, despite whatever rumors there may be about how they clear out natural habitats and environments. They are heavily involved in what's called the beautification of wherever it is that they're developing. So they may like completely pave an area over, but then there will also be like just like, oh, we have like reserved greenland for like this like one type of, yeah, they basically gentrify shit. They get rid of the like the non-uniform parts of like the nature wherever they're going. They put up some kind of we'll say like sort of like a little park to appease people. It's like almost decoration. But in reality, anybody who sees this area knows that it's basically the equivalent of a bonsai tree, um,
Ah,
of like the old former biome or environment. Um, yes, it is well known, but the reason why it's well known will probably piss you off. They've turned that area of the Russian coast into a paradise. Like it is now an extremely rich kind of getaway. Like it's this beautiful ice coast like vacation area resort. There's all sorts of wind development things going on there. Like it's like it's pretty beautiful actually, and they run security there very well. So it's like kind of a little getaway for like rich people. It's like a little how do you call it, like a 24/7 all year round Christmas village. People go there and enjoy all sorts of native little Russian like treats and everything. If you're rich enough, you can just like pretty much move in, have your own little cottage there. These very ideal little places to live. That's what they do. That's what you're dealing with.
If all the boxes are checked, then no problem.
Okay. I do want to point out also, well, who wants to be the one to like actually examine the map of where that beach is where they're doing their work?
Why not Enya? Like, just the map?
That's perfect. You don't even need to roll then. Yeah, you're looking at the map. You see that there's a straight line from that beach to Atlantis.
Oh,
A
that's
straight line, very straight path.
noteworthy. Not really sure what else there is to.
Is it they can see Atlantis over like the water, or is it?
Yep, they absolutely could.
Okay. Or is it they have like a beach line to Atlantis, like a ground line?
No. There's no ground line like that.
Okay. I mean, no, I'm just wondering how the it's set up. I know they're on the beach. I don't know if they're like parallel or perpendicular to Atlantis.
If you stood on that beach, you could look. If you looked further and far away enough, you could see Atlantis.
Okay.
If you had a telescope, clear, unobstructed, no other landmass between you, no little islands, nothing.
Where is Atlantis again? What ocean is it in?
To the west, Pacific. I'm sorry, to the
Okay.
east, and it's in the Pacific, east of Guam, pretty much over the Mariana Trench, like somewhere close to it. So the Atlantis is not far from where Avicii is.
Wait, and where is this beach that she's looking at?
It's on the east. It would be the beach is like pretty much up around, pretty much in this area. I still have to mark off more of this map to customize it, but just imagine that the coastline extends from here to here, more or less. Beach is like right here. So just imagine that in this area, we'll say around here, there is like water. You just look sort of over here. Across a straight line, you will see Atlantis eventually off in the distance somewhere. Again, with nothing else in the way, though. That's the important thing. There's like nothing, no
Okay.
other islands dotting anything. It's a straight line. There you go. That's the beach. I guess I'll just leave that there for now, like it is, because I'll have to go back and reference that occasionally. So there you go. That's kind of what you guys are dealing with. Is there okay? So, like I was saying, is there anything nobody has any like kind of not going to throw up any roadblocks or anything or cause any shit about this? It seems Enya's on board. She doesn't mind. Everything's legal. I'm guessing Mikey wouldn't want to cause a fuss or anything. I mean, these are just people on the property.
Yeah, he would probably, if he knew anything about the company, he would probably have some concerns about it. But like, they don't lose if you try and fight them. Like, they are the law, and the law wins. So it's just kind of this like, yeah, it's shit that they own the place, and they might do something weird with it. But
You're the law.
I kind of feel like we should.
We're not the respected law.
I mean, I do feel like Claudia would maybe waste time and put up like small roadblocks, but just really nothing more than just making them take more time to do more paperwork.
They don't need to take time, because if you try to throw any kind of like roadblock, they have AI that just will sit on the phone with you forever, speaking in very polite voices. They have AI that will fill out anything that you need. They have their artificial intelligence, like little firewall, just like pretty much takes care of red tape by not only filling everything out that you ask in triplicate, but then also asking you to confirm every single time you get every single copy. And the longer that you take to like process something, the more they will continue to, like, by law, continue to request to confirm that you received something, read something. They'll ask for your signatures. They'll ask for your signatures in triplicate. Like, for any roadblock you try to throw up, they seem to actually just meet that energy with just AI, though. So you can never be sure, or you'll never know at any point that you're frustrating a person. It's just like a guy can press a button and wait.
Dang.
It's rough. Do you want to roll to see how long you can like stall them?
Sure, why not? I'll
Give me a bedazzle roll, passive opposition of 2.
I'll say point that. Make it 3.
Eventually, as you're rolling, your little games to like basically frustrate them, you will get a phone call from a human being eventually. You personally will get one, Claudia.
Oh, she'll answer.
Okay.
Of course.
When you answer, you just hear someone wait on the other end of the line. They don't talk first. They just wait for you to pick up and then are quiet.
Hello?
They take a moment and then finally respond with, how's your day going? Go pretty good over there? You everything okay? I happened to notice that there was seemed like a bit of a slowdown. Something you need to report or let us know about? We were just filing a very simple motion here with the. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just need clarification on, and then she'll, I guess, rattle off, probably asking for some water table estimations and approximately, how much they would estimate that it'll take to do that, or Basically, something like that.
The man on the other line stops what he's doing. You ask about that, and then says, "Okay, well, all that information should be forwarded to you at your earliest convenience, of course. Is there anything else that you needed from me before I make sure that all this information is properly filed? By any chance, something that maybe you needed to know?"
I think so far this looks good. Just send it over. I'll have a look over it and make sure it's up to task.
I'm glad that you're so thorough with everything because lately I've noticed that little Lane has a bit of a sniffle. And I think that someone who's very attention and detail oriented should probably get that checked out. Maybe just pick up a little cold medicine on the way home. I noticed there's a pharmacy right next to you. You should consider buying some Kleenex as well. Well, goodbye. And then they just hang up.
Oh boy. You could, she just feels like the little strands on the back of her neck just go up and go, don't like that.
Go ahead and give me a, we'll say, what kind of roll do you want to do here? Mom mode roll? That sounds fine. Mom mode roll.
Oh my god.
Oof. Okay. This statement clearly is like weird and threatening, but it is kind of there's some other aspect of it that is difficult to parse at first until you notice that 5 seconds of your life have just vanished and the room that you're in grew by about a centimeter is the only way that you could describe it. Something is a little bit further away than it used to be. You take 4 soul stress upon realizing this. Something fucked up just happened. You're not sure what. It was not there's nothing in the room other than what you and whoever else you're there with. You can roll gaze to confirm it, but I'll just tell you straight up, there's nothing else there. Something just happened. The room got like I said, like a centimeter, and I do mean only a centimeter bigger. Yeah, you know what, gaze if you'd like. You can sort of see what happened. With a 1, you can fate point it if you want to be able to determine exactly what happened. Your 1 will tell you that indeed the room is a little bit, just the slightest bit. And by the slightest, the only way you could tell is like the door that used to close smoothly against the frame is now just the slightest bit off. Like it doesn't, it's like just the slightest, it's just the littlest, tiniest little fraction bit not flush with everything, like the fittings and everything.
She's just gonna look around and get real concerned.
Also, 5 seconds, your gaze will tell you the clock on the wall, 5 seconds have passed. Like it was like click and then clack down to 5 seconds.
Okay, that's worrying. Is anyone else around?
If you're just in the general office, yeah, everybody you're working with.
Jeez. I should probably turn to someone nearby and go, did you experience anything suddenly? Like a time kind of speeding up?
Question: who else is in the office with Claudia when she's making this call? Which one of you guys is around just like handling the little day to day kind of like processing of
Yeah.
stuff related to your cases?
Yeah, Mikey will turn around from his desk, half eating some fruit, and just be like, "No, why? What's going on?" And like his eye stalks kind of peek out at like 2 different weird directions as he kind of takes a look around.
Uh, um, is it just me or is the door a centimeter a little bit further away?
I guess can
Am I
I
going
can I
crazy?
roll?
Sure.
See,
Yeah, you're gonna look at the doorway.
yeah.
Okay. You don't need to roll for it. Your eyes immediately begin to burn like you've just been sprayed with pepper spray.
Ow! Ah! And they pull back in, and he just why is the door hurt? To see. who are you on the phone with? What just happened? And
Uh,
he's like he's not rubbing his eyes, so to speak, where they should be on like a human face. He's actually just kind of patting his hat where they kind of rest.
Aw.
well, I just got a phone call from someone from Dorobo, and we were just talking, and then brought up my kids, and
Oh,
about
hold on.
Hmm?
As you're talking about that, your words begin to slow down and the room begins to contract a little. So as you're
Okay.
talking, like as you're saying something, your words like stretch out, like as you mentioned, like like it slows down like that. Room contracts the centimeter. It's back to normal size. But both of you experience that time contraction. And
Well,
Mikey, if you were to look at the door, it doesn't burn your eyes anymore.
Yeah, it's a slow kind of process for like the eye to come out and look again, like at the door, just because don't need that twice in a day.
did what just happened? What?
I don't know. I mean, it had to have been whoever you talked to, right? Or I guess somebody with the company.
I guess so. What the heck's happening?
I don't know. Is it? I mean, is it one of those samurai again? They always do weird stuff.
I don't know. I was just talking with him on the phone, asking for water tables and stuff. Pretty basic what they want, and then he brought up my kids, and they were sniffling and things, and that got real weird, kind of stalkery in a way.
Yeah. Next time, can you take the call when I'm not here? I don't want to. I don't want to get burned like that. If it's gonna keep being a thing, those people are like they're pretty wild. Like they've never really lost anything that they want before. They just kind of like take everything.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why they. It's just bothering me real bad. I mean, I'll try not to uh, take a phone call while you're in the same room when they're calling, but
Yeah, I mean, next
the
time, yeah,
promise is
just wave me out. I'll leave. I'm not.
First of all, my wife is dying. Uh, 10 Doorborough agents just run in to start wailing on Mikey immediately. Just
Ah, screaming.
yeah,
As he
Claudia's
gets jumped.
fine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that's very strange. It was like an expansion. Time went weird, then contraction. Time sort of returned and slowed down as it contracted. Um, it only happened for 5 seconds. Very noticeable kind of phenomena. You could write this off as a samurai effect, a demon, a stand, something. But it was a very strange thing, and it did coincide exactly with that phone call. So, with that in mind, Claudia, you kind of like have your options of what do you want to like press this matter with the rest of your squad, or do you want to just like did it chill you enough to kind of like throw you off a bit? It's one thing if you're in danger, but the guy clearly did name your kid, so you might take that personally as well. It's up to you.
she's taking that shit personally. Uh, so she's definitely like, at the very least, she would bring it up to the chief. It's like, uh, can I get like a little protection for my kids? I'm kind of worried that something's going on here.
Okay. Chief doesn't really know what you're talking about. He's not sure what you mean. Um, he will tell you Dobro Corporation is very rich and powerful, and there's a lot of native Guam uh, council people that have stock in Dobro. They like it's very good for business, basically being good with Dobro. So he would likely inform you that if you have an issue with them, maybe resolve that. He doesn't the threats to your kids. He doesn't know anything about it. Like basically, and he's not just saying that because he's trying to like wave it off. that your kids were threatened. He's saying it because he just doesn't truly understand how you could have run afoul of them to begin with. As far as he knows, Dobro Corporation, all they wanted was just like information on the property they owned. So you're gonna have to tell them why it is that they would be targeting you, and he also some kind of evidence of that.
I mean, she'd probably give some the basic, like, she just asked for like extra water tables over, and then they got a phone call from a human talking about the kids sniffling and stuff.
Yeah, if you mention all that stuff to him, he's just gonna say, "So, wait, were you like stonewalling them or something? What the fucking water tables? What's that got to do with you?"
Listen, I just wanted to make sure everything was going by the book, and I just want to make sure water tables will be fine. For whatever they're developing. That's all. It was just some basic questions about the environment and what effect they're gonna have on it. And that's it.
I don't think that's any of your concern. Are you trying to? He like leans forward. Are you trying to shake them down or something?
What?
Like
No.
money, information? What are you doing?
No. I just want to make sure everything's by the book, Chief. And I just want to make sure everything by the beach is just going to stay, just going to be fine. And, when the environment's not going to be like overly badly affected or anything.
Okay, I get it. This is one of those like bleeding heart kind of things, right? Like you're from this ocean. You want to make sure the ocean is protected. But Dobro Corporation is a big. They donate a lot of money to our police department, to the city in general, our city services. It's also that they can get certain licenses. I know, you know, all the little properties that they own around Guam in general and near Stella Maria on the beach in particular. So I don't think water tables are really going to be a concern for them. And if they do have a problem with water tables, one of the city officials will probably work with them. As for the thing with your kids, it's probably just, I don't know. You sure it wasn't somebody you knew, like a friend or something?
I'm 100% sure, Chief.
Well, why don't you take the rest of the day off? Just go home, be with your kids, that sort of thing.
All right, Chief.
Yeah, sounds like you're having a rough day. I know that case, the last one was rough. Missing girl, chopped to pieces. Yeah, you should go take care of them, Cornell. It's fine. This whole thing with Dorboro, don't worry about it.
All right. I'll take off here in a little bit. I'll just finish up whatever I've got laying around and then head off.
Sure.
Maybe 30 minutes.
All right, but Cornell, if you bring this up again, that Dobro Corporation is threatening you, or you think that they're personally targeting you, I'm gonna have to recommend that you talk to one of our, our head shrinkers. Because to be honest with you, I mean, they're a big company. I don't want any kind of talk like that around here, like there's some kind of conspiracy, okay?
Fine. I understand, Chief.
Very good. Good, Cornell. I know your job is very stressful. He just opens up he takes a tablet and starts browsing through some files. Don't worry about it. I'll just forget that this even happened. Like I said, personal day for you and your kids.
Personal day. I hope you have a good day, Chief.
Yeah. I will as soon as I order one of these small portable irons.
Are you sure you don't need help with that?
You offering?
Sure.
Okay. 1 second. He slowly reaches below his desk and then pulls out a basket of shirts. Do you know how to use an iron?
Yes, I do.
You know what? I have a better idea. Just take these to the dry cleaner for me, will you? Since you're going out and everything with your day off that you're going to take just now.
Yes, Chief. I'll take them to the dry cleaners. Anyone in particular you want them to go to, or just?
Not really, but you can charge the. Obviously, it goes to the. I'll build the police department. It's my uniform, so don't worry about it. Just go ahead. Just just take care of it. And, I got other things that I need to handle. Just make sure that everything is like processed here with Dobro. I have to meet one of their representatives. I thought they were in the office somewhere, but I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen them either. I'll go ahead and take these off to the laundry then. I hope you have a good meeting.
I'm sure it won't be. I don't like these guys too much. Take care, Cornell. Don't lose your shit out there, huh?
I won't, Chief. And then she'll, leave and take the shirts with her.
Okay. His shirts are just dirty work shirt. Like it's his dress shirts. It's just some of they're clean actually. It's just they're very wrinkled, and he hasn't had. It looks like too easy of a time keeping everything in order, nice and presentable. Yeah, and he does have you doing laundry, pretty much. A little disrespectful, to be honest.
Very, but at this point, she's used to it.
You'll notice that if you walk through carrying the basket of his shirts, like a few of the human officers kind of like give you kind of like smug looks. Like they're just staring at you kind of smugly. And one of them will say like, "Hey, how you doing, Cornell?"
She'll probably give them a finger as she's walking by.
Keep it starchy and pleated, and then they'll wink and shit like that, Like they're ribbing you clearly, but they're not. They're just being like assholes basically towards you. This is kind of the general vibe sometimes from some of the human officers in the Stella Marie PD. They like, yeah, they're kind of just jerk asses to you guys.
Yep. Kind of expected this.
Although, as you're walking through, you'll bump into somebody who's carrying a few clothes as well, sort of just like on hangers.
Oh?
Yeah, it's your friend Clint.
She'll probably pass by with a. Oh, hey, Clint.
Oh, hey, what you got there? Are those the Chiefs?
Yes, I'm taking them up to the laundry. I basically got to take the rest of the day off.
What? That's crazy. Here, I'm going. You just give them to me. I'll take care of them. I'll get them back to him. He holds his hand out expectantly for the basket that you have.
Are you sure? I mean,
What are you kidding? You're like a detective. Like I'm just a guy around the office, and right now all the new recruits are kind of, taking a little bit of time off to go take care of some certification things. So yeah, I got plenty of time. Yeah, just come on. You got stuff to do. You have a day off. You should be enjoying that. You shouldn't be doing this gopher stuff. Come on. Yeah, just hand them over. I insist. Come on. I'm bullying you into it.
all right, all right. And she kind of hands over.
He
Hands
takes.
them over.
Yeah, he'll take them. Hey, with your day off, what do you think you're gonna do? Oh, you're gonna go. I guess spend time with the kids, right?
Yeah. I guess so.
All right. Don't be one of those workaholics that just has to take their work home and ignores their family life. I used to do that. It's not great. It's good to connect with your kids when you have the opportunity. Hey, I have also noticed that some of the people around the around the precinct here were giving you all sorts of little tips and advice about what to do with their dry cleaning. I should probably go ask them what I should do, since they're so handy. I didn't know there were so many little homemakers around here. You guys are all homemakers, huh? He kind of like looks around, kind of scans the room. A lot of the officers, some of the cops who were like giving you shit, kind of like look away. One of them snickers, like because it seems like they've been called out.
Just don't worry about it. I mean,
Me? Oh, I'm never worried. The only thing that I worry about most of the time is am I gonna get home in time to watch some of my favorite shows? I have them, to record. I have it set to record. Although sometimes I mess up the machine and I record the commercials by accident. But that's really my biggest concern a lot of times. Some of my favorite shows are on while I'm at work, so if I can't catch them, I got the recording right there. So that's what I'm into. I'm gonna take care of these. Do you want me to get in you anything while I'm out? Or actually, you're gonna be
Um,
gone. So,
yeah, I'm gonna be going. So,
all right. Well, see you later, Cornell. Claudia. He just kind of walks away with the shirts and the other laundry. Um, he almost drops the basket. He catches it. Whoop. And then it keeps walking.
she's gonna just shake her head and just wave and probably head out. Start to head out at least.
Okay. So we're gonna assume Claudia's just like sort of taking the day off, but you can kind of loop the rest of the team in on like what happened. Mikey obviously knows.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. She'll probably tell them why she's taking the day off and probably why the chief, and that the chief's kind of sent her home for the day for it. So
All right.
nothing, nothing she can do about it.
Before you make it out the door, to leave, you will feel kind of like a presence behind you as well.
She'll look behind her.
Okay. There's a familiar mask there waiting, just quietly staring at you behind the mask.
Harlan.
Are you aware of the principle of drift?
No.
Okay. It's a martial art that was first developed, I believe, somewhere on Earth, but then perfected by practitioners on the moon. It has since been spread throughout the world once again. The fundamentals of this martial art involve space. Just recently, just now, I determined that there was some sort of drift effect. Do you know anything about this?
Well, earlier when I was on the phone, I s- I felt like I feel like the room got bigger and then smaller a little bit, and Mikey did too because he was there, and Mikey also said his eyes hurt when they looked at the door,
I see.
and then time kind of skipped.
Time skipped.
Yeah, it felt like 5 seconds passed real quick, and like maybe I just spaced out, but I don't think I did.
Hmm. The effect of room expansion and contraction could be said to be drift, and the effect of one viewing a certain thing and causing pain could be said to be an effect of another principle of the martial arts, gaze, that which relates to perception, but time is a different subject. This happened in relation to what?
Well, I was on the phone with a representative for Dorobo, and I was just asking about some water tables and stuff. Make sure the environment, whatever. That's not really helpful. And then they started kind of threatening my kids, and and then after while I was on the phone for that, all that kind of happened, the contraction and everything.
I see. Adorable. They hail from the land of 1,000 curses. I do not recommend that you pursue any matter related to them. You seem like a soft sort of person. They are not soft people. Be careful, Cornell.
I will. Thank you. Thank you, Harlan.
He slowly steps backwards. Remember, I warned you. And then he just
Of,
vanishes.
of course. She's probably in the middle of saying, of course. And then he just disappears. It just goes, okay, and then just starts to leave again.
Okay, so now you have proper warning, I guess, from Harlan. You're leaving. Will probably be like noticed, I'm sure, by your team. With all that out of the way, finally, we can like cut to a few things. A, did you guys want to take now a minor, major, or monumental case? It's up to you. The minor case would probably be like crime around town. Major case may be something involving like more important figures, including the mafia and samurai clans. Monumental case is you look into Dorobo. So you have that option kind of like in front of you. You have like things you can pursue. There's still matters involving the Valentine clan. And then minor cases will be, you know, keeping people from doing various crimes around town. You can assume the default for your minor case is just making sure the bottlenose boys aren't causing trouble.
Oh,
Or a
boy.
call from Poppy, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean,
Poppy
is-
Stalker case? Consider that one a minor.
maybe a minor or major case. I've
Okay. The Poppy Stalker case. Does anyone is anyone interested in finding out about Poppy Stalker? That counts as a minor case. There's one vote for a major case. Believe me when I say every minor and major case has a chance of rolling into something bigger than it is. So it depends on like what you guys pursue and what you want to control.
I feel like with her out on the taking the day off. I mean, Claudia might look into the Stalker case a little bit on her time off.
Yeah, the chief will. I mean, he can't stop you from doing stuff at home. You're gonna look into the Poppy case. The case of
Sure.
Poppy Stalker. Who's gonna take lead? Is that you that wants to take lead?
Sure.
All right. Looking as taking the lead into the Poppy case. Who do you want to like loop in first that you're interested in looking into the Poppy case? Like who on the team? You obviously got all your teammates here. They're still going to be in communication with you.
I feel like Towner.
Oh lord.
And Towner and Mikey, maybe? Or Blue. Yeah, Blue. Towner and Blue.
Okay, Towner and Blue. Blue has experience sort of personally handling Poppy. And then Towner is kind of like a big muscle man. So this might be. How does Towner feel about Blue? How does Towner feel about Poppy in general? I'm curious. Like this is
I
just
mean,
a pop star.
She's no more ridiculous than any other human, so
Yeah.
all humans are ridiculous. She's just, a unique flavor of ridiculous.
Yeah. She's probably to you no more absurd than somebody who just works a normal job, you know? It's just that she is small and makes a lot of noise and is kind of squeaky. That's really it.
Yeah, she's like a puppy.
Kind of, yeah, she is very puppy like. It's practically her name. But she is famous. She's extremely, she is well known in Guam. She has a good deal of influence. So knowing all that, knowing that she has a stalker, it's not like people like this do have stalkers, first of all. So that's like not the wildest thing in the world, you know? Like it's more a matter of like this one in particular seems a little weird. So what is it that I guess Claudia, what do you want to look into first regarding the Poppy stalker?
First, I feel like the most is like when it started. I mean, I feel like when, how, and kind of started is like the most important ones. I mean, who would be ideal, but I don't imagine he knows exactly who did it. Or who it is, rather. So, definitely how often it's happening, time frame of, when she started noticing she was being stalked, and if they've gotten, like, have they broken in? Have they taken anything, like, weird? Like, have they gotten, like, like, you noticed anything missing from your apartment or anything? That kind of thing.
Okay. Looking into those questions and using your team to gather any sort of little information that you can. I'm gonna say, well, first of all, before we actually do any of that, you told everyone about Dorobo, right?
Naturally, yeah, she told
Yeah.
everyone what was going on and why the chief is telling you to take the day off.
Okay, so now, yeah, everyone on the team is generally aware. Dorobo is apparently they did something weird. They threatened one of your fucking squad mates. The chief said don't fuck with them, and now Claudia's been put on a case that seemingly is like almost nonsense. This case about Poppy's stalker. So I'm sure among you there's a general feeling that this is like they're just trying to keep the heat low or something while they take care of whatever's going on with that beach.
For the record, Enya thinks that the chief is being nice and Claudia's just stressed out. She probably imagined some things.
Yeah, seems right to me. So with all that having been said, I'll say first roll of determining certain things about the stalker could be thrown at Blue. Go ahead and give me a. We'll say. Well, okay, Blue. If you wanted to find out more information about this person that's stalking Poppy, how would you do it? Like, what would you? What is like your path to getting that information? You can, for example, go to local net cafes and hubs of obsessive fans. I'm almost calling them otaku, but not quite. And shake them down for information. You can use some of your contacts to see if there's anybody that's been um, particularly interested in stolen goods, either the buying and purchasing and related to Poppy, as well as any equipment that might be sold to certain obsessive individuals that could be related to anonymizing an online presence. Like you kind of have some nice contact potential there, along a lot of different avenues. So is there any one in particular that you think might be the most fruitful?
I was thinking she'd start with, because have we seen like this online guy doing like tweeting or whatever it's called, um, sending out those cryptic messages and stuff, posts?
Yes, there's several posts on that account, that Bird Suddenly Appear account, that are kind of weird, obsessive. The last one that was sent clearly seems to be detailing something that would have been where you and Ice Peak were. So this is someone who may have been like in the background watching.
Okay.
You can-
I was gonna, yeah, like do something with looking into those posts more. What could I do though?
If you want to like look more into them, I guess it's just a matter of like researching, like going through that person's account history. You don't really need a role for that one. If you want to like just gather and download them and like basically collate them, that's fine. Um, is there anything in particular you're combing through it for?
Mm, Probably just like more clues about who this person might be or who they're connected to.
Okay. The post began to appear roughly, we'll say, a year and 3 months ago. Um, they start out like sort of a little cryptic, like somebody just saying like, "How does this thing work? Is anybody listening to me? Why doesn't anyone ever respond to me? What what are you all like looking at?" And then eventually they seem to latch on to a thread about Poppy, and they say, "Oh, it's her. You want to look at her. You don't want to look at me. You don't want to know that I exist." And then eventually they kind of work their way into the Poppy fandom, first becoming a reposter of like Poppy facts and information, clips of Poppy, that sort of thing, and then eventually getting into more like detailed posts in time that say like, "I was at this concert and I saw what you wore and it was beautiful, but I know that it really those clothes really don't match, and I wish she would listen to me, but she never listens to me. And then another one that says like, I tried to talk to her, but she pretended she couldn't hear me, and why doesn't she just acknowledge that I exist? And eventually they start to get into more obsessive, more but also more like loving kind of things. Like um, I saw that she broke up with uh, whatever, some guy, some local dancer or something, which is a shame because he was actually quite cute. But that's okay because she doesn't need him. She just needs me. I'm the one who will be here. That's okay, Poppy. I'll wait for you. Like stuff like that.
Okay.
You'll notice that on every live tour appearance that Poppy's ever done, if you were to cross check it, there's a post from this account, either that says something like "so sad today, she didn't look at me," or um, "she pretended she couldn't hear me again." I'll always wait for you. I'll be there. Why do you deny that I exist? Why are you lying to everyone and saying that we're not together? Things like that.
Okay, and I noticed that she is both at that restaurant and at the scene of
Mm-hmm.
the hanker situation.
Yes.
Hmm.
There's no clear way to identify the gender of whoever it is that's posting, as they never really clearly say who or what they are. They never post a picture of themselves. They never identify whether or not they're human or merfolk. There's no indication. There's also no indication that actually there's one indication, only one, that that Poppy that this person has ever even been like close enough to Poppy to be considered a threat, which is um, there was an incident, we'll say a couple months ago, where Poppy was found to be prescribed certain sleeping medications because she was having difficulty falling asleep. And there's a post right around that time that says, "She looks so peaceful now that she's resting."
Mm, mm, gosh. Well, this is probably grasping at straws as well, but I remember that guy, that random guy who walked by with a sandwich
Mm-hmm.
during the hankering thing. Would that
Mm-hmm.
be, I don't know if that's anything I should
Do you
like
want to
look
find and track
into.
down that guy? Track that guy down.
I
Okay.
I guess so, yeah.
That guy was just a random human contractor who didn't get the notice that there was no work that day, and was like on his way, basically coming into like a later shift, an evening shift. Um, he had no idea. As far as you can tell, his background is nothing of note. Like he got caught one time for like drinking underage a long time ago. That's about it, really. Oh, and he has like parking tickets, but it's just because he's, just kind of a guy who doesn't park right. But otherwise, that individual seems to be fairly innocuous. He's just harmless. He's just some guy.
Okay. Um, well, maybe we could look into those sleeping pill prescriptions.
Okay. Researching that story will tell you. Actually, let's see. What do you got here? Give me a gaze roll to see how well you can parse through the information, because there's a lot of little gossip about like why Poppy was looking weird on stage, or how she was like seemingly sleepy or like erratic. With a 4, you're able to like cut through the chatter a lot and get to like interviews that actually were conducted with Poppy, um, which just is just her on camera, kind of saying like, um, kind of telling everyone like, "Hey, be careful, everyone. Sleep is important, and it's also important to make sure you talk to your doctor if you have issues that are keeping you from sleeping right. I was having some issues where I thought someone was," and she like leans in and whispers like, "following me. So it was hard to sleep. But now I'm better. So I have to thank my doctors, but never take sleeping pills without seeing your doctor first. I'm Poppy. and sleeping pills helped. And then she smiles, and then there's a small branding thing at the bottom for the brand of sleeping pills she took.
Oh no.
No, Poppy. Don't do this.
It should be noted that after she plugged that brand of sleeping pills, it became incredibly popular on Guam. So now, generally, even there are people who still will take that type of sleeping pill and be completely like that's just what they like here in Guam in general. If they're good enough for Poppy, they're good enough for you. She was briefly investigated for shilling, basically, for a pharmaceutical company, but it was found that she actually just of her own accord said that, not because they paid her to. And she even of her own accord added the little graphic at the bottom. So then the legal team of the pharmaceutical company had to deal with her, and she ended up paying a very small fine in the end and settling about it.
All right. Well, I would probably it's time to maybe talk to Poppy.
You want to directly talk to Poppy? Okay. You're probably going to want to take at least I don't know, Towner with you or something. Or you could go in by yourself. It's up to you.
No, yeah, I was thinking, I mean, can I take Claudia?
Absolutely.
Okay. If she would like to.
Of course.
Might as well take Towner because he's here and as a player. I don't want the player to fall asleep.
Let's take both.
I'm awake.
Better
so
be.
far.
Okay. So the first thing you're gonna notice when you get to you're gonna try to you just want to meet in person with Poppy.
Sure, yeah.
Do we have to arrange like an appointment?
No.
Or should we even like think about investigating her house? Like, so should we could go to her place?
Her house is currently being
burnt.
There's construction happening at it as they have to deal with the fire damage that occurred very recently. But you can meet with her at her studio here in Stella Marie. It's Concrete Studios is the name of the facility. It's on the we'll say west side of the city. Pretty nice, swanky part. A lot of high money people walking in and out of the building. She is Poppy, and she is popular. Aside from Poppy, there are also various like idols that record here, like small idol groups. And like young up and coming musicians. So it's a pretty bustling place. Poppy herself is kind of sequestered towards the back in her own little corner of the studio, surrounded by people on their phones, who are very very distracted, but all networking in different directions. She herself is playing a very very old handheld video game system with a piece of candy that's like a long, like basically like a, what do you call it, like a fruit by the foot almost, that she's just like slowly feeding into her own mouth as she's like playing some game with the appropriate beep and boop sounds. Um, she looks pretty much like a child surrounded by a handful of busy adults who are all ignoring their latchkey kid, which is Poppy.
Try to get her attention, you know.
Before you can get her attention, she like you hear a boop, 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 boop sound on her handheld machine, and she just screams help, and everyone around her turns to look at what she's doing, and she just says, help, I need help, I just died and I don't have any lives left. Oh no. Yeah, they can't resist immediately. Like they'll stop what they're doing and begin, like one will pull up like a strategy guide, another will like quickly wipe the sweat off of her brow, one of them will pull the fruit tape out of her mouth and then unwind a new roll and like place it back in. It's like it's almost like you're watching a pit crew like restock a car, like change the tires and everything. One of them even unscrews one of the bulbs from her headpiece and then puts on a fresh new bulb, and then starts like wiping down like her hood that she has on. One of them will drop like eyedroppers into her eyes so that they're fresh and not dry. One once everybody's done, like she just immediately restarts and she says, "Okay, thank you," and they all go back to what they're doing.
Claudia probably just mutters like, "Rich people, I don't understand," and probably tries to knock loudly enough for someone to hear. Hello.
Whoa! She like throws her computer, little game console, or little handheld like up into the air, and it just whips into the wall and explodes into pieces, like fragments everywhere. Oh no! She says, and then she gets up and starts to try to gather them together. Uh-oh. Now there really is no more continues. Oh no! Help! And then she looks around, and immediately one of her assistants runs to go get a new game console or handheld. She spins around to see you guys, though, at the door. Oh, hello! I didn't call you yet, but I'll call you later because I'll need help probably.
We're actually here about your, you know, can we talk?
What kind of tone do you take when you ask if you can talk?
Probably just a friendly enough tone, like look, can we talk? It's a little bit serious, but it's kind of like starts out like kind of friendly.
Yeah, we can talk. What about? She stops what she's doing and just kind of steps on the pieces of the handheld that she was previously just trying to gather together.
It's about your stalker.
My what? I don't have a stalker, right? She looks around at her assistants. They all just nod. No stalker, Pop. Poppy doesn't have any stalkers.
It's just that we're concerned about some things that are kind of cropping up, and we just wanted to follow through on few a few things, and figured you're the best place to start.
Okay. Sure. I'll help the cops because the cops help me all the time. What can I do for you? She just kind of like marches over, almost like with an awkward gait, like really kicking her legs out when she does. She's wearing noticeably platforms that give her about 4 inches more of height than she really needs. So her walk is almost like stilt like as she like travels over. But she seems more than happy and approaches you and then stops and puts her fists on her hips and kind of like cocks her head to the side and just stares at you.
Claudia's just looking up at her and just okay.
No, she's actually shorter than you still because she's short. With 4 inches, she's still like below you. But when she notices that you're still taller than her, she'll just like press a small button on her shoulder, and you'll hear a and then platforms go up like another couple inches, and then she's your height.
Okay. She'll look at her and go, yes, listen, we've noticed some concerning posts uh, from a particular individual. Have you ever interacted with? And then she'll turn to Blue. Can you pull up the profiles and everything that you got earlier?
I'm gonna assume Blue has no trouble, right? Just
Oh, sorry.
oh,
Yes, I do. I go ahead and do that.
okay. Yeah, acquiring that information, getting that, and you would just want to show it to Poppy to say like, what's up with this. She will kind of like look it over and go, and like rub her chin. She does basically the thinking emoji pose. Oh yeah, I remember this person. They told me to go to that restaurant. I went there, and then people chased me, and you were there. She points at you, Blue. I remember.
That's right,
Right.
Poppy.
Thank you for saving me. And then she reaches in like behind her somewhere into the pocket of one of her assistants and just pulls out a wad of money and holds it towards you. Here you go.
Oh, that's not necessary, Poppy.
Okay, she just puts the wad of money back into the assistant's pocket. It was just a balled up fist of what looked like ones and fives. It wasn't even like a ton of money. It was just probably all told like $40, maybe.
Well, also, Poppy, I saw this interview with you. I remember you were having trouble sleeping at one point. And you said it was because you felt like someone was following you. Do you remember seeing this person, or what gave you that feeling?
Oh, right. When someone was following me. She looks around at at the assistants. They're all staring at her. I don't know if I should talk about it. Because I'm better now that I can sleep. And people say that I probably shouldn't talk about it because it probably wasn't real. And it makes me sound crazy. So I listen to them. And then she smiles.
Well, just indulge us, if you would, Poppy. Um, we just want to make sure that everything's all right and you're doing all right, obviously. And it seems like you might be suffering. Well, it it might be doing harm to you, and we want to make sure that's not happening.
She kind of just stares at you still with a smile on her face. I have to be honest with you. I wasn't sure if it was real either. That's why I was having trouble sleeping, but she looks around again, a little nervous. Well, there were times where I thought somebody was in the room with me, or like if I was having a conversation on the phone, that there was somebody else listening to me, other than just me and whoever I was talking to. And there were times when I would go to check the mail, but the mail was open, like somebody had been through the mail. Or I would get something to eat from the refrigerator, but there was a bite taken out from it. The doctor said that I probably wasn't sleeping right, so I was forgetting things that I had already done, like opening my mail or eating food, or and things like sometimes hearing like people breathing when I wasn't. She just kind of shakes her head, starting to get a little frazzled. But they're probably right.
If you may, where did you experience these things? Was it at your apartment or here or?
Everywhere. But I sleep now, so it doesn't. I ever since I started sleeping, it doesn't happen anymore. So I'm fine. This person, she looks at the messages again. They're probably just one of my fans that are just my fans are very intense and they love me. So and I love them and sometimes some of them think that I'm in love with them, but I'm not in love with them because I don't. She leans in and whispers, and you can tell her assistants are trying to like listen in. I'm not really. I don't. I only date people that you know the label says that I should date because it's good for my career. And sometimes they're nice, but sometimes they're not nice. So it lasts or it doesn't. And then she leans back. So that's how I find love. But I can't fall in love with my fans. Like I can't marry all my fans. I don't have enough room in my house for that many husbands and wives. So I just dance and sing and sleep and eat. Speaking of eating, she like scratches her chin and then her cheek. I've been really hungry lately. You guys know where there's some really good seafood around here?
I think I know a good sushi place.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll pay as a thank you for helping me the other day, and I'll tell you more about like sleeping stuff. But here's the thing. I want to go in a disguise. She nods her head quickly at you.
Of course. Do you have any in mind, or would you rather be surprised?
I don't have any sort of thing like that. I have a few.
perhaps in about 30 minutes, we'll meet at the place, and she'll probably give over the area.
Okay, I have to think of a good reason to sneak away. Do you have any good reason why I might be able to sneak? If you don't, I'll think of one myself.
Obviously, you need a better game console.
No, I have it. She points at you. Don't worry.
Okay, no worries here.
Blue looks nervous.
Uh-oh. I have food poisoning. I'm going to vomit and have diarrhea at the same time. Uh-oh. She starts spinning around on one leg. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Her assistants start to freak out. Uh-oh. Oh no, this suit doesn't have any zippers on it. Uh-oh. Oh, she blows her cheeks out like she's about to barf, but just keeps spinning around on one foot. It looks like her platform shoes actually have a rotating mechanism in them that allows her to just spin around at increasing speed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm like a lawn sprinkler. Uh-oh. Her assistants start just scrambling. They begin shoving you out of the room.
Yeah, after that, Claudia's just gonna go, I think we should go?
As like right before you leave though, she halts in her spin and then winks at you, and then kind of like then goes back to spinning at an ever increasing rate until she's almost a blur. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and hopefully she'll meet us there.
Hopefully so.
So as Poppy spins, you hear the panic increasing inside Concrete Studios once you're shuffled away. And someone screaming, "Don't do it in here! There's so much. The equipment's too expensive. God damn it, Poppy!" They're freaking out. But if she is capable, she will try to meet you. At where did you recommend it? A sushi place?
Maybe Hootie and the Blowfish?
Oh my god.
I mean,
Why?
kind of fits.
I mean, it kind of does, I guess. So Hootie and the Blowfish restaurant. She will come to meet you there at a certain time appointed, like a half hour ish.
I do like that it's been changed to Hootie and the to-go fish.
I like it.
I think it's funny, but it's still. I feel like we wouldn't take Poppy there.
Poppy there, yeah, it wouldn't be our go-to.
I mean, if you want a different name, we can have Hootie. We can still have Sushi Hooters somewhere else. It's just the taking Poppy there is a bit stray. It might give off different vibes than intended.
Yeah, now we're stalking her. Oh.
Just like perpetually traumatizing Poppy.
People always trying to touch her.
Yeah,
or whatever.
inadvertently.
That's her disguise? Wow. It's a little, I mean, hey. Maybe she's into that.
Oh, I don't even see it yet.
She has a damn near a Mortal Kombat ninja mask on.
Were we gonna pick a different name for the place?
Probably.
Well, now that you switched it to go, I don't feel like it.
It's quite as bad.
Yeah.
I like it. I think we keep it.
Okay.
What is the name?
I have an updated name.
Oh, that's cute.
And it doesn't have Hooters anywhere near.
That's for later.
The gross implication. Let's talk to you about your stalker.
So, you guys wanted to meet Poppy at a kind of discreet location, not too far away from the Concrete Studios. Do you make an effort to like lay low and like look just how much of an effort do you make to be inconspicuous?
Claudia probably goes in probably not her usual Hawaiian getup, so kind of just casual shirt, casual blouse, casual jeans, that kind of thing.
Does anyone order before Poppy gets there? Counter. It is a food restaurant.
Oh,
where they
I
sell
I
food.
didn't think I was there. I'm sorry.
It's a restaurant. Why wouldn't you be? Come on.
I didn't think I got brought along.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, yeah, he'll order. Why not?
What are you gonna order, bud? What would Towner eat at a sushi place? It's a pretty okay sushi place. Like you've seen better, but it's
I'm
not
gonna
bad.
be real with you. Towner knows about sushi. I don't know the first thing about sushi. I've never eaten it.
What kind of sushi? What kind of fish do you think Towner would like on a list of fish?
What's his
Tuna, yeah, fatty tuna, something a sampler platter.
Yeah, tuna. Isn't there a fish that's like it's not fishy. It's basically like the consistency of steak.
Swordfish, I guess, kind of a little
Yeah,
steaky.
swordfish is kind of sticky, from what I've heard.
Yeah, how about that?
Okay, little swordfish tuna, swordfish sushi rather. Yeah, they'll bring that out for you, no problem. Everything's like prepared pretty well. They have no trouble serving merfolk here. In fact, because they see what kind of merfolk you are, Towner, they may make the assumption that you just want maybe caveman size cuts of the swordfish, like kind of presented like sushi, but they're clearly like Flintstone sized portions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Then they you like as the guy is handing you the dish, he just says, I hope this is to your specifications.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah.
Very good. Yeah, they seem to actually enjoy having someone like you in because they love making sushi and seafood in general here, but like having an actual shark sit and eat their sushi, um, they feel proud and like it's good marketing. Looks good for your like fresh your sea fresh restaurant, you know.
Do they take pictures and like put it on the walls of their like guests?
It depends. Would Towner allow them to take a picture?
Well, okay, I thought Towner had a like a human form he was supposed to stick in.
I always assumed he was just always half shark.
I always imagined it as like he's not literally a shark, but he's clearly not a human because he's got like ridiculous teeth.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're gonna know what he is then. I mean, if he's got
Okay.
ridiculous shark teeth, I mean, yeah, that's what I figured. I figured he was just basically a street shark because of the token mostly.
That's what I thought or originally was going to go with, but I thought he had to keep a disguise or
No,
the chief would yell at him.
no, not really. I mean, the chief might still yell at you, but I mean, it's a matter of like whatever you feel most comfortable with, how you want to be, So if he's most comfortable as like a shark man, then sure, the chief might give you shit, but it's not like there's like laws in place where they can't discriminate against you basically if you just want to be full out shark person.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, shark person it is. And I don't know if he would like consent to photographs, but he's probably so busy with the food that he wouldn't notice if you started snapping.
Okay, then throughout like the thing, throughout as you're eating, occasionally like a waitress will come by and pose with you, like, and then take a picture, and like, or like just a smiling server will take like a photo, like getting a little bit too close to your face.
I mean, yeah, he's awesome. Of course you want to take pictures with him.
Yeah, of course.
Question.
Mhm.
Is the amount of mermen in the Guam and Atlantis area, is that like the most concentration on Earth?
Yes, there's the highest concentration of merfolk.
So it's like we're kind of a tourist attraction a little bit.
A little bit. There's quite a few. Just in general, the population is massive of merfolk in Guam, but it's also not like you're still minority. I think you're like I forget 5% total or something like that. It's pretty low.
And we're still trying to blend in, I guess.
Sometimes, yeah, it depends. I mean, it's just rough. It's been 22 decades longer. No, about 2 decades since merfolk started showing up. And initially, it was like attacks on the coast and everything, and not everyone knew that they were just like people. They just thought they were monsters at first. So it's been a rough time. Guam is one of the like little test beds where people are like, yeah, we can integrate well with merfolk. See, like you can have like a community of merfolk, and it's fine.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, like, and there are some people in the city and in Guam in general who are pretty racist towards your kind, and there are some people like at this restaurant, the Moshi Sushi, who kind of like having you guys around and everything. It's like, kin of the sea. When you're a sushi restaurant, you got to be like ocean fresh, so got to have the folk of the ocean there too. And if they're eating there, that's good. And it's good branding. It's good marketing. It means the fish is really fresh.
Get it?
So as you're as this is happening, finally, like a woman, a very small woman, under 5 feet tall, with a black mask, comes and like slides into the or at the, are you guys at a table or booth? It doesn't really matter, but
A booth, I feel.
yeah.
Either a booth. Yeah, a booth. A big booth, I think.
Yeah, she slides in with a huge pair of sunglasses on. Doesn't say anything, just slides into the booth. Probably maybe next to Towner even.
Towner offers this mystery person food. What?
We can't hear you.
What do you mean you have
Yeah, Claudia just points to her mouth like, there's this thing covering your face, and it's really, I mean, it's muffling your face.
Oh, you mean the mask in my face because I have the mask on. So I should take the mask off. So that way you can hear me. No problem. I'll just go ahead and take the mask off. It's a good thing you mentioned something, because I was gonna start talking about things you're probably interested in. But then if the mask isn't the way, you won't be able to hear what I say. Thank you.
And then she just starts taking the mask off. Whew. It was hard to breathe with that on.
Blue size.
Blue, give me a roll for hard boiled. Yeah, hard boiled roll. Let's see. You take no soul damage, but it's a very frustrating situation. Poppy, once she has the mask off, kind of like hides her face behind her hand from everyone around her. Sorry guys, I just have to keep a low profile because I'm so famous. One of the servers walks by and says, "Oh, hey Poppy." And she says, "Hello." And then just goes back to hiding her face.
Wonderful disguise, I must say.
Thank you. I come to this place pretty often, so they know me around here. So I have to be careful that nobody recognizes me. But it's a pretty good restaurant. So, you guys wanted to know more about the person that's been sending me messages, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Please.
well, to be honest, I kind of called your chief and asked if somebody could help me with it. But then one of my assistants found out and told me that I shouldn't talk about it. So I had to pretend that I didn't want to talk about it or that it wasn't real. Because if I didn't, then they wouldn't, you know, order me the things that I like from across the sea.
Why not?
Because they say it's bad press if there's a stalker that nobody can catch.
Okay, but how are we supposed to catch them if we don't know anything about them?
Ha. Well, first of all, my assistants say that the person isn't even real. And when I try to talk to them about it, they just tell me I should probably take more of those pills and go to sleep. I'm starting to think maybe the pills aren't good for me, but I do sleep now, so that's good. She starts like hopping her leg a little as she's talking. I wasn't sleeping
Okay.
before, so I wasn't feeling too good.
Well, when did this all start?
I guess it was a little over a year ago. And
Oh,
when it started, um, there were people that started like saying that there were weird messages about me online. So I started to look and I read them and they made me very upset. And then I stopped, sleeping so well. And then I started thinking there was someone following me. And then I got pills and I feel better now. But if you ask me, I think that person is still there and they just probably watch me while I sleep. She like looks between all of you and then nods once.
okay. And have you ever got glimpses of this person? Even just details like hair, face, sex, anything like that. It would help narrow the search down.
Well, it's weird. I've got to look at them one time, but I think I might have been either dreaming or I don't know. Maybe it was the pills. She like starts rubbing her forehead a little as she's hiding her face. But if I tell you guys, you probably won't believe me because it's so weird.
Any small detail, no matter how insignificant you think it is, will help us to catch this individual.
Okay. But you have to promise me one thing.
Yes,
You won't call me crazy. Okay?
of course not.
Okay. It looked like me, but uh
Really?
but different. Only way to
How
describe it.
how different? Did they have different facial features or uh, dress a little bit differently? Like, say, instead of your usual little suit, they had maybe a skirt or something over it.
They wore a lot of black and they had makeup that was very black and spikes, like a collar, and their eyes were black and they followed me.
Where all have they followed you to?
I was on my way from an appointment and I had to take a nap. So I stopped at the studio and then they followed me. And then I don't know, I lost sight of them, but I knew they were there and she just starts rubbing her head a little more. I don't know, it's hard to say. It's like the corner of my eye or something. I, she starts getting apparently like visibly frustrated, agitated. You think I'm crazy or you're like them, you'll just say it was me or something, or I'm just making it up, just seeing things.
If you were making it up, you're doing a very good job of worrying me, quite frankly.
I don't want to have to. She starts scratching her scalp. I don't want to have to see anybody about it because if I do, my my assistants say the news will find out, and then I probably won't get any more bookings, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll just do commercials, I guess. But who wants to have someone like me? They think I'm crazy, but I don't. You have to believe me. It looked like me, but it wasn't me. Like a mirror.
How long have you How long was it since you noticed this started appearing? Just still back a year ago, or
After I started taking the pills, I saw them once, but then never again. But I knew it was them because they were everywhere. Where I was going, they were there. They were following me. I knew it was them. It has to be the same person.
But you didn't ever see them before you started taking the pills?
No, I never saw them before, and I haven't seen them since. Just when I started taking them, it, the doctor said sometimes when people start taking this particular medication, they may occasionally have different types of visual distortion while they're awake, sort of like a daydream. But I don't think that was a daydream. I mean, that person looked real, and they looked a lot like me. And I'm really worried because if it's someone that looks like me, and they follow me, and they write about me all the time, who's to say that they're not trying to be me? Like somewhere out there, there's somebody who just got plastic surgery or is wearing a mask and it looks just like Poppy. And then if something happens to me, like they kill me, they could just take my place. She just starts like she's really fidgeting now. I shouldn't be worried because you know, my assistants say that that's not going to happen because they would know. And also fingerprints and DNA and retinal scans. So there's no way. I have all those things recorded on a black box. I won't tell you where. She just really starts fidgeting now.
do you have any of these pills on hand?
Sure. Are you having trouble sleeping?
I just want one, please.
Okay. She reaches into her bag and then removes one of the pills. It's just a nondescript pink and yellow pill.
She'll, take it into her hand, probably pocket it somewhere.
They're pretty good.
Also, Poppy, I'm wondering if you've ever responded to the posts that this person makes at all.
She shakes her head hard no. No way. You're not supposed to respond to negativity online. It just feeds the trolls. Even if they are following you in real life and are maybe trying to steal your face and your identity and probably going to take over your name and eventually just become the new Poppy, I doubt they can sing as well. And it wouldn't be a good idea. Poppy says, don't do it.
That's very smart of you, Poppy.
Well, I have to ask another favor, if you don't mind. She starts like rocking back and forth a little.
Go ahead.
Okay, don't tell anybody what I told you ever. Like till the day you die. Like never tell anybody, because it'll ruin me. She just
Of
goes. She's just
course.
rocking quietly. Okay, yay!
What?
Well, it looks like you solved the case. She's just rocking back and forth quietly. There's no stalker. They didn't exist. I'm fine. Yay! You helped. Yay!
Uh,
Okay. Is there anything else I can help you with?
It's just that is there anyone that you can think of that could be doing this to you? Anyone close, like with a grudge, maybe?
She gives you a real earnest look, almost like puppy dog eyes. I don't hold grudges. And then it makes like a sort of pouty face.
I meant anyone that isn't you. Of course, you maybe don't hold grudges yourself, but other people can.
Well, one time a seagull tried to steal my sandwich, so I said no, and it looked mad. But other than that, I can't think of anything. I've never made any enemies ever, anywhere, that I know of. I'm pretty sure.
So no one that you can point to, not even one of your assistants or anything.
I don't think so, but maybe if you looked into it, you might find somebody who maybe says that they don't like the way that I dressed or sang one time, or they thought my dance moves were kind of lame. But nobody would say that sort of thing about me, I don't think. Or would they? What if everyone's in on it?
Poppy, don't go down this road.
What
You're not
if
lame.
what if everyone is just trying to convince
No,
me that I'm crazy?
no one is trying to convince you that you're crazy. You're not lame or anything. You've got a big stardom, so you're gonna have some haters here and there, but they're not someone who wants to do you personal harm. Now, this stalker is different because they may want to do personal harm to you, so they stand out from the crowd of haters or trolls or anything like that, and because they want to do you either personal harm or some other thing like obsessive fan who really thinks you're in a relationship or something like that, and it's very diluted, and so it's not necessarily you, it's your image, your person, your you as the idea, in a way.
So, you think someone would do that? Dress up like me? Follow me? Stalk me?
It is very possible. Um, it's kind of common in your line of work, uh, and we can work to find out who it is and bring them to justice, or at least get them to stop stalking you so much.
If that person was nearby and you found them, they would run away, right? They would have to run. At that moment when she says that, a plate drops
Where does it drop?
somewhere in the restaurant.
Oh dear.
Someone that matches my profile would have to run, right? And then you notice that one of the waitresses there, blonde hair, pretty short, actually bolts for the door right after Poppy says that.
Okay, that's weird as shit. Towner,
Yeah.
stop her.
Oh, but okay, and he'll like struggle to get out of the booth because of how large he is,
Okay, you're gonna
and then
chase
chase
them
after the
down.
person.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
sure.
Blue's gonna trail behind.
This person, whoever they are, is like really booking it. They're not only running, but they have their purse with them, and they are, you notice, quickly grabbing things out of their purse and smearing them on their face as quickly as they can. Towner, go ahead and give me a I guess a ride or die roll. Jesus. Yeah, you quickly are gaining on them. I don't think they're gonna be able to beat that. Let's see. Yeah, they you're pretty much like right behind them at this point. You're close enough where you noticed something I'll say frightening. Um Not only are they smearing what looks like makeup on their face, but they are taking their keys from their bag along with safety pins, anything metal, and jamming it into their neck like a collar as they are running. Into their neck, some parts into their face. Um, she's just whoever it is smearing first all off like white concealer foundation on, and then black mascara, like tears around their face, their mouth, and then jamming metal into their face as they're running away.
I guess John would try to tackle this person before they hurt themselves more.
Okay, you can definitely do that. You are able to, I'm going to say with that roll, you're able to take them down. Whoever this is, it's a woman. She's just on the ground screaming, kicking, thrashing. She's saying, "I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy." She's convulsing so hard that you swear she's about to break her own back or something.
I guess I will handcuff them and bring them back.
Bring them back to the restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's thrashing wildly. Blue. After after John grabs her, the woman's purse is kind of like strewn about, just splayed out on the sidewalk. There's a small crowd gathering. Um, Obviously concerned, this woman was basically mutilating herself and running away from the cops.
I'm gonna tell people to kind of stay back. It's kind of a scene of,
Sure.
not, yeah. And then I guess, yeah, I will like gather up the stuff because there's, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. The woman's purse contains, well, what she didn't cram into her fucking face and neck. Looks like just a normal stuff you'd expect in a purse. There's actually nothing in here weird that would tell you that this is a stalker or someone that's obsessed with Poppy. It just has money, ID, her Uzik, a couple of snack like packets of small, like, look like crackers, but other than that, this is a fairly normal purse. There's blood on the ground, and the blood is red, indicating that this is probably just a human. Probably. I mean, there is sea life that has red blood, but usually merfolk. I mean, they have blood, but you can sort of tell from a glance most of the time whether it's of a human or a merfolk. Kind of consistency, color, everything. Just seems like regular ass human blood, and you're someone who would know because you're part viper fish, so you know predation is in your wheelhouse, and this just seems like human.